Hello, welcome to London City Pilates beginner class. So we're going to start with the blocks. So I have here a soft cushiony block, which could be a pillow at home. I have a large solid block, which could be a large book. And then I have a small block here, which could be a DVD or Blu-ray case. First of all, I'd like us to sit up nice and tall. So you might need to place a large block underneath you in order to feel nice and tall and lifted. Now, if you have problems sitting cross-legged, you can have the legs out in front of you if needed. I'm just going to go to cross-legged. So first of all, I'm just going to lift up nice and tall through the top of the ceiling and feel as though my head is being drawn up towards the sky. Then we're going to activate into your core. So my first action is to engage my pelvic floor. So imagine you need to go to the toilet and you're holding it in. So first of all, I'm going to imagine it as a lift and we're going to draw the elevator up. So I'm just going to engage my pelvic floor, squeeze it, draw it all the way up to the top, nice and strong, and then lower it down to about halfway, to about 50%. So there is a lift through the pelvic floor without it feeling too strong. Next, I'm going to think about a belt around the waist, and I'm going to draw my belt in very, very strongly. Then I'm going to release the belt to about halfway, so I can feel my pelvic floor lifted, and I can feel the belt drawing in a little bit. So if you have a tap on the stomach, what you should feel is an engagement. So I'm not squeezing, bracing, or locking the abs, but there is definitely an engagement and a lift. The next job to do is the breathing. So I place my hands onto the ribs, and as you breathe in through the nose, I feel the ribs expand out to the sides like an accordion. And as you breathe out through the mouth, you feel the rib cage lowering down. Breath in again. Breathe out, release down. Now, as well as breathing into the sides of the ribs, I also wish you to breathe into the back of the ribs. So it's slightly easier now if I just bring myself slightly over the legs and I feel the rib cage expand out and back as I breathe in. So the actual breathing is a combination of out to the sides and also filling out the back of the ribs just as much. Excellent. The next part is to look at the shoulder or the shoulder girdle. So I'm going to reach my arms forward and I'm going to push my fingers towards the front. And then I pull them all the way back. Again, press the fingers forward as if you're reaching to give a gift and then pull them all the way back. Then find somewhere in the middle where the shoulder blades feel as though they're gliding down towards the back. And then I'm going to float the hands up. I'm going to reach the hands up towards the sky there. So I feel the shoulders riding up towards the ears. And then I'm going to draw them down very strongly, bending the elbows. Reach them up. And then draw them down, bending the elbows. So from there, I'm just going to place the hands by the sides. I'm just going to feel as though the shoulder blades are gently drawing down and also sliding back. Yeah? So there's a nice openness across the front of your chest. We refer to this as the open pectoral line, the open chest line. And my final thing is to the head and neck placement. So I'm going to press the chin forward and then pull the chin in. Press the chin forward and pull the chin back. Then I need you to find somewhere in the middle. So you feel as though your head, neck and shoulders are drawing up. So you can see there is a nice curvature here to my neckline. Excellent. We're going to come down onto the mat. The next thing to talk about is the spine, where the spine is. I'm just going to place the block onto the other side. So currently, my back is in what's called the neutral position. So I feel as though I have a slight curve underneath the spine here, and I feel as though I'm balanced on this very, very flat bone here, just above the bottom. It's called the sacrum. From here, I'm going to go to an imprinted spine. So the action is to engage the core muscles, draw the belt in, lift the pelvic floor, and let the abdominal wall sink down as the belly button draws down, and I'm completely imprinting the lower spine into the mat. So there is no gap, and then I bring the pelvis back to the start position, the neutral position. So ideally, you want your two hip bones, these two bones here at the top of the hips, they're called the ASIS, and your pubic bone to be perfectly in line with each other. And again, I'm going to draw the belly button down. I'm going to let the lower spine sink and the lower spine press it into the mat to create the imprint, and then I return my back to the neutral position. In order to get the neck correct, what you want to do is, if you're lying down, you should feel as though your chin is in line with your forehead. Now if you notice here, mine is slightly up. So I'm just going to place the small block, or the DVD case, whatever you have, just behind the head there. And now you can see I have what's called a nice cervical curvature into the neck, and my chin is in line with the forehead. We're going to start with hip opening. So I'm going to place my hands actually onto the hip bones themselves, the ASIS, the bony bit of the hips here, and I'm going to keep the back in the neutral. My left knee is currently up towards the ceiling. As I breathe out, I'm going to let the right knee gently open out to the side without the hip tilting or without my left knee moving out to counterbalance. So that stays straight up towards the ceiling, and as I breathe out, I bring the right knee back up. The other side. So I'm going to breathe out. I keep both sides of the pelvis nice and still. Breathe in, return that back up. It's very easy here to let the pelvis tilt towards the side that you are opening out to, and the other knee to swing out to counterbalance. So you want to keep the other knee nice and stable. Let's do that 4 more times. So my left leg is staying up, the right left knee, and as I breathe out, the right knee opens out to the side. I engage the core, and then I breathe in and return. The left. Replace. 2 more. Breathe out through pursed lips. Breathe in through the nostrils. So here I'm just feeling my pelvis is staying nice and stable. We'll challenge that a little bit further by turning and extending the leg out. So I'm going to open the right knee out. And then from there, with the right hip turned out, I'm going to extend the right leg straight. I return the leg parallel, and then I'll slide that leg back in. All the time, keeping the neutral curvature, keeping the pelvis in neutral. So my left knee opens out to the side. I slide and straighten the leg with that lateral rotation in the hip. I bring it back to parallel, and then slide the leg back in. 2 more. It opens out to the side. I breathe out as I extend. Breathe in, go parallel. Breathe out, return. I breathe in as I open the knee out to the side. I breathe out as I slide the leg nice and long. I bring the leg parallel, and then I'm going to slide the leg back in with control. Very nice. From here, I'm just going to challenge, go into a hip roll or a spinal roll. So I'm going to place the large block between the knees. I'm just going to draw the heels slightly in towards your bottom. Not all the way in, but just a little bit. I'm going to press the small block up and away, but still within reaching distance. The hands come by the sides. So we're going to move to the imprint, what we just practiced before, the lower spine pressing down into the ground. I take a breath in, I feel the ribs expand, and as I breathe out, I feel the belly button draw down, the lower spine imprints, and I start to slowly peel and press the hips up towards the sky. At the top of the movement, I'm feeling a ski slope position from my knee to the hip to the shoulders, traveling down the body. Take a breath into the side of the ribs, and as you breathe out, slowly start to peel the vertebra down, down into the mat. Try not to force the lower spine into the mat, release it, and then finish by returning to neutral. If this feels okay, we'll challenge it a little bit more, or feel free to stay there with the arms staying down. I take a breath in, engage support. I let the lower spine imprint as the belly button draws down, and I start to squeeze the bottom and press the hips up to the ceiling. From here, I'm going to float my hands just up towards the sky. I'm first of all going to push the fingers up to the ceiling. So I create a closed pec line, and then I'm going to draw the shoulders down, creating an open pec line. Keep the shoulders drawing down. Keep the open pec line here. I take a breath in. And as you breathe out, I'm going to lower down through the spine, letting the arms slowly lower down in the process of the hips. A little bit of coordination there. As my back returns to neutral, the hands lower down. Let's just try that one more time. Take a breath in, engage, support. Let the lower spine sink into the mat. Slowly start to peel the hips up. Keep the rib cage down. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. Float the hands up towards the ceiling on the breath in. Breathe out. Press the fingers up to the ceiling, and then draw the shoulders down into the base of the lower spine. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, lower down through the vertebral column. Let the arms come down with you in the process of the movement. Watch any tension building up around the neck and the throat there. Try to keep them nice and relaxed. Return back to the neutral position. We'll do one more level. Breathe in, engage, support. Breathe out, roll up. Squeeze the buttocks. I'm going to float the arms up on a breath in. Now as I breathe out here, I'm going to let the arms carry it further back, keeping your biceps in the peripheral vision. Now what you want to avoid here is the ribs flaring and sticking and poking forward. So my rib cage is just gently drawing down. My arms are over with my biceps in the peripheral vision, and I'm maintaining the ski slope position. Take a big breath in to the sides and the back of the ribs. And as you breathe out, slowly roll down through the spine and let the arms come down with you in the process of the movement. Move through the imprint to finish returning back to neutral. We'll try that just one more time. Take a breath in, engage support, breathe out, roll up. Breathe in, float the hands up to the ceiling. Breathe out, let the arms carry over. Keep your shoulders, don't let them ride up towards your ears. Keep your shoulders down. Take a breath in. Maintain the ski slope position, and as you breathe out, slowly peel and roll down through the spine, letting the arms come down with you. Finishing by returning the back into the neutral position. Very nice. From there, I'm now going to take my large block, the cushion block, as well, and come lying onto my side. So I'm going to lie onto the side. I'm going to let this other arm come out to 90 degrees. I'm going to lift the underneath waistline, so I feel as though I'm balanced very much on the hip bone. My heels are in line with the bottom. Now I'm going to start by placing my fingertips down. I take a breath in, and as you breathe out, engaging the core, I'm going to open the top knee out. Whilst I maintain my pelvis exactly in the same position, and then I'm lowering down on the breath in. If you feel fairly confident here about your balance, you can place the hand actually onto the hip bone, onto the ASIS, and feel that it remains stable. So as I open out, I don't rock the body or the hip backwards. Breathe in, prep. Breathe out, open the knee out. Breathe in, return back down. Keep the underneath oblique lifted. Feel the buttock here in the top side, engaging, and then releasing down. One more. And lower down with control. If this feels okay, you can maintain that, or if this feels okay, we should challenge it a little bit more. I'm going to hover the feet about 5 to 10 centimeters away from the floor while the bottom knee stays down. You open the knee here. Replace down with control. Open. Replace down. Keep your core active. One more. Stay here. Now, if you want to challenge it a little bit further, I'm going to keep this leg straight and keep my thigh where it is, where I'm going to straighten the knee joint out. Keeping the pelvis very, very still. You can put the hand back down if you need to, or you can keep it on the pelvis. I'm going to make slow, controlled circles about the size of a football there. 3, 4, 5. Keep the balance, feet keep the control. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Flex that foot and just do little pulses up there. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that back in, hold it open, and then gently lower the legs down. Very, very nice. Let's go into a thigh stretch here so you can see where my leg position is. It's still in the same, heels in line with the bottom. I'm going to just take hold of the back of your top foot. Now what's going to happen here probably is you're going to want to swing that knee up. So I'm just going to gently draw the knee back so you feel as though the knee is in line with the hip and the knee is slightly drawing down. Yeah, you don't have to pull it all the way to the floor, but what you don't want it to happen is to swing up and out. Once again, try to keep the underneath oblique lifted if you can, and draw the knee back there a little bit. Take 3 big breaths. Good. From there, I'm just going to ever so slightly move the underneath leg a little bit further forward, so it's kind of hitting 90 degrees there. And I'm going to squeeze my top buttock cheek there. So I've got hold of my left leg, so I'm squeezing at the left bottom cheek, and I'm pushing my hip forward as I pull the knee even further back. This is a little bit of a balance challenge as well, but you should definitely feel the thigh stretch now. We hold that for 3 breaths. Still in the rib cage. Try to avoid breathing into your diaphragm. Good, and then gently release out of that. Woo! I can feel that thigh stretching now. Before we do that on the other side, we're just going to come onto all fours. I'm going to put the blocks there in preparation. From here, I'm on all fours with my knees directly underneath the hips. My hands are underneath the shoulders with my little fingers just to the outside of the mat. I'm going to come towards you first. So I'm going to release my right hand here. I'm going to slightly bend the left elbow, and this is called thread the needle. I'm going to push my hand and offer to you a tray of drinks there. There's a slight bend in my supportive elbow. I'm not too low, I'm not dropping all the way down, but I can feel a twist in the spine. Good. Replace that hand back down on the breath in. As you breathe out, slightly bend the elbows. You can see my hips are staying still. I'm just rotating around. There is a temptation to here to move the whole hips over to one side. I am just threading through where the pelvis stays nice and stable. Breathe in, replace that back down. Breath in, breathe out. Thread the needle, reach the arm through. Now as it comes back here, I'm now going to start to open that chest out to the ceiling. Once again, I'm not leaning away too much. You might not go as far as what I have. And replace down. You might have gone a little further than me. That's my breath in. Then I breathe out. I thread the needle through. The pelvis remains stable. I have a slight bend in the supportive elbow. I bring that arm back. And I'm going to open that chest out towards the ceiling without moving my hips over. Replace that back down. Let's just do that once more each side. Breath in. Breathe out. Thread the needle. Breathe in, return. Breathe out, open. Replace the hand back down. One more, breath in. Breathe out, thread. Breathe in, return. Breathe out, open. Replace that hand back down. And we're just going to pull back into the shell stretch there, just letting the torso hang down with your bottom coming towards the heels. As you come out of that, I'm just going to round the spine into a cat stretch and finish by returning back to the tabletop back. Lovely, let's do all of that on the other side now. So I'm going to start with the clam first. So I've got my cushion, large block, and the cushion here, so my head is nice and lifted, it's nice and elongated, the heels are in line with the bottom, the underneath arm is just here with 90-degree flexion. You can start with the fingertips down, or if you feel fairly confident with your balance, you can place the hand straight onto the hip bone. Engage, support, take a breath in, breathe out, open the knee out, feel the bottom, and then replace that back down. Keep hold of your core. Breathe in, replace. Feel that the hips stay still. One more. Breathe out, engage. Gently replace to the ground. You can continue to keep the feet and legs where they are, or you can lift the feet about 10 centimeters away from the ground. Not very far. Breathe out, open. Breathe in, return. What you might now feel is that contraction, the bottom, the glute contraction, has slightly changed to a different position. Good. If you wish to challenge this a little bit further, I'm going to keep my thigh exactly where it is, but I'm going to extend that top leg out. I'm going to place the fingertips down here. So if you feel as though, if you have your hands free, if you feel as though you're wobbling around, you just keep the fingertips down. So I'm going to make the controlled circles for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Flex, pulse up and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that foot back in, hold the open, and then gently lower back down towards the ground and release out of that. Going into the thigh stretch, still keeping this underneath oblique lifted. The heels are still in line with the bottom. I take hold of the top foot there. Watch your elbow isn't swinging out too much. Draw the elbow down a little bit as well. I draw the knee back so the knee feels as though it's in line with the hip. And we just hold that stretch for 3 breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Keep hold of your core. One more. from here. I'm just going to just bring the other leg out to roughly 90 degrees. I'm kind of using the edge of the mat here as a guide there. And I'm going to squeeze the top bottom cheek. So now I've got my right leg. I'm going to squeeze the right bottom cheek and I'm going to push the hip forward as I pull the knee back. Once again, make sure it's not swinging up. You can draw it down, so you're trying to keep the knee in line with the hip. Breathe for 3 breaths. And then release out of that. Now, because we did the glute a little bit there, I'm going to take a little bit of a stretch. So I'm just going to remove the cushiony block there for a second. So I've just got the rather large block. I'm going to place the right foot on top of the left knee there and let the knee open out to the side. So some of you might already feel the stretch here. That is fine. Just hold it. If you wish to increase the stretch, I'm just going to take both hands behind the back of the left knee now and just draw it in towards you. Hold that. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Replace the foot down. Nice control. And then swap to the other side. Placing the left foot on top of the right knee and allow that knee to open out to the side. Once again, you might feel quite comfortable here. This is more than enough for some of you. Or if you wish to increase it, just take the hands behind the back of the right knee now. Keep pressing the left knee out to the side. The chances are it's kind of come towards you a little bit there. If you feel as though you can just do a little bit of pressure with your hand there, you can hold on with just one hand to your leg, then do that. Hold that there for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release out of that. Good. So I'm going to go now to some abdominals. I just need to grab my smaller block. I'm going to go into some abdominals now. So, we're going to have the back is in your neutral curvature. I'm going to place one hand onto the hip bone, onto the ASIS, the bony bit of the hip, and I'm going to place my other hand onto the abdomen. I'm going to engage my core muscles. I'm going to float the right leg up to the tabletop knee position. And then I'm going to breathe out, support, and float the left leg up to the tabletop knee position. Try not to have the shins too extended. It's very much 90-degree flexion across the knee and the hip. Take a breath in, engage, support. And I'm going to extend the right hip and I'm going to let the heel or toe come down to the floor. Now you might feel the back and the core already there without tapping them all the way down. And then bring it back up on a breath in. Breathe out. You can go halfway down to start with. Feel as though everything is nice and stable. And replace. Or if you want to, I'm going to tap the toe or the heel, whatever comes first. Down to the ground, bring it back up. Ideally what you're looking for is your abdominal wall stays supportive without it popping or doming forward. And as you extend one hip away from you, the other leg doesn't come with you. That stays up in the table all the time. The back stays in the neutral curvature, so there is a little bit of gapping there. Bring the other leg back up. We'll do one more. Bring that back up with control, and then I'm going to take the right foot down for 1, and then take the left foot down 2. We'll just do some abdominal crunches. We did this in the previous video. So I'm going to take a breath in, I engage, I support, I do a slight little head nod, and then we reach the fingertips forward, and then we lower down with control. Again, slight little head nod in, breathe out, curl up, feel the ribcage drawing down as I reach the fingertips forward. Try not to have your shoulders up by the ears, and then lower down. One more. Coming back down. Now, we're going to take the hands behind the ears with the elbows up into the peripheral vision. Remember, we do not want the arms out because that encourages the rib cage to flare forward, to press forward. So here, the elbows are slightly up. I take a breath in, slight little head nod. Breathe out, curl up through the center. Resist with control. Breathe out, curl up through the center. Resist back down with control. One more. Lowering down with control. Sliding the hands back in by your sides. So, if we feel okay with the abdominal crunches, I'm now going to link that with a single leg stretch. So, I'm going to talk you through it slowly. We're going to float the right leg up to a tabletop knee position. As I breathe out, I extend that right leg out while the back stays in the neutral curvature. I bring the leg back in, and then lower the foot down towards the ground. On a breath out. Let's do that on the left leg. So I bring the right leg up. Table, I breathe out, I slide the left leg out nice and long. I bring it back to the table on a breath in, and then I breathe out, lower down. So, what I'd like to do now is to put an abdominal crunch or curl through the extension of the leg. So, I take a breath in, and as I breathe out with a little head nod, I'm going to reach the fingertips forward, I'm going to slide that leg out and long. Then as I lower the head and shoulders, the leg comes back in, and then I lower the foot back down. Let's do that on the other side. So as I breathe in, the right leg comes up to table, the left leg comes up to table. And then as I breathe out, the head comes in, I reach the fingertips forward, so everything is pressing away from me there. I bring it back in as my head and shoulders lowers down, and then lower down with control. There's quite a lot of coordination going on there, so I'll just do that one more time. Breath in, support. Float the leg up, little head nod, curl up, reach the fingers forward. Feel the abdomen, keep the belly from popping or doming forward, it's flat. Bring it back in, lower the head and shoulders. Lower down. One more, breath in. Breathe out, reach the fingers forward, press the abdominal wall down, try not to let the belly dome. Bring the leg back in, and then lower down out of that. Very nice, good. Just take the arms out to the side, just do a little hip roll there from side to side, release any tension around the back. And then you can even do a little bit of a head roll from side to side, in opposition. Releasing any tension there. Very nice. We're coming back onto our side here. So I'm going to revert back to the thick block and the cushion. And we're going to have a little look at the shoulder. So we're going to do an exercise called the chalk circle. So my head is very much in the middle of the blocks here. Actually, it can be a little bit towards the front. So I'm going to move the blocks back a little bit. I have my heels in line with bottom, as we've done before. The arm is out in front. Now, in my top hand here, I'm going to imagine that there is a piece of chalk. I'm going to start to take a circle over the top of my head. Now here at the back, I'm just going to let the chest open up towards the sky, and I'm slowly going to let the arm come around the back, and then it passes all the way back over the top of the hips there. What I'm not doing as I come around here is I'm not forcing the hand to the ground. I'm controlling it. If your hand is touching the floor, that's great, but don't open the knees out in order to make that happen, yeah? And then bring it all the way around. We'll go for 3 more. Breath in, breathe out. Come round. Now, at the back there, you might feel a little bit of discomfort, hopefully not pain, a discomfort, and you might feel like you want to whip the arm over. Please to avoid that whipping action. If you need to lift it a little bit, that is fine, but try not to just sharply whip the arm around at the back. Yeah, so if you need to do a little lift, as long as it's a controlled lift without it being too sharp, that's fine. One more. Release out of that. Very nice. let's have a little look at just thoracic or chest lifting. So I'm going to come back to the short block here. I'm going to come over onto your stomach, onto your abdomen. I'm going to draw the legs towards each other and parallel. And I'm just going to have my forehead resting onto the block, so my nose is not on the floor. The arms are coming out to like a L shape or a W shape. I'm going to lift my abdominal wall, so I'm going to draw the belly button up away from the mat itself, and I'm going to draw the shoulder blades down. The first action I need to do is I need to lift the sternum, the chest bone, up. And then I lower down with control. So I'm feeling as though my back muscles, my upper back muscles, are creating that lift, as opposed to my lower back. So if you're feeling your lower back a little bit too much, then you need to try to draw your abdominal wall, your belly button, up a little bit further. Engage, support, draw the belly button up, and as you breathe out, or breathe in, I don't mind, as long as you're breathing, you lift the sternum up and then lower down. So if this feels okay, I'm going to challenge it a little bit further by raising the arms. So I am going to breathe in as I lift and breathe out as I raise the arms. So I engage the abdominal wall, I breathe in as I lift the sternum, and then I'm going to breathe out as I float the arms up. And then we lower down in one fluid movement. Again, breath in, lift. Breathe out, float the arms up. Try not to let the contraction go into the lower back. And then lowering down with control. You can continue to do that level, or if you wish to, we can do it all at the same time. So I take a breath in, lift, and breathe out low. I really don't mind how you breathe here, as long as you are breathing and not holding your breath. That's the ticket, really. Again. Two more. One more. Good. So if you felt that travel a little bit too much into the lower back, please do the very first level and just get that correct before you take it up to the next two levels. So from here, just a little stretch as I just pull myself back into the shell pose. Once again, just stretching out the back there. And then we'll come and just do the chalk circles on the other side. Pressing the hip away, creating that little lift through the underneath oblique. The arm comes out in front. Imagine a piece of chalk in the top hand. The arm comes up. I keep my hips facing the front and I circle the arm round, avoiding any whipping action or avoiding letting the hips roll back. Breathe in and then breathe out as it passes around the back. Once again, I don't mind how you breathe necessarily, as long as you are breathing and not holding your breath. I tend to find it a little bit easier to breathe out through that very challenging stretch there. Bring it all the way over. One more. Last time. Bring it all the way around in front. So, we're now just going to go to a full body stretch. Nice and simple, nothing complicated about this. I'm just going to let the arms carry over. I'm just going to reach the fingers away from me, Reach the toes away from you. Don't worry about arching the back. It will naturally arch as you reach, and then just let it all release. Again. Reach them arms, reach them toes, stretch through the body, and then just relax and release. One more. Reach and stretch through both sides of the body. And now from here, I'm going to reach the arms out to the side, avoiding the blocks. Reach the arms out to the side. I'm going to let the legs open a little bit. In fact, just bring the knees up, just to let the lower back naturally sink or relax. Let the arms come out to the side. And then we're just going to, if you need another block again, please do so. I'm just going to take some very gentle head rolls from side to side. Don't force the neck. Just let them roll and release. Very nice. Roll onto one side. Press yourself up. Come and sit onto the larger block. Make yourself nice and tall and lifted there. Either the legs open or cross-legged, whatever suits you more. And we're just going to do some nice shoulders rolling up, back and down. Up, back and down. Up, back and down. Good. 3 the other way. Back, up, over, round and through. Back, up, over, round and through. One more. Just a little side stretch of the neck there, side to side. And thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you all again very, very soon.